welcome to My Venus Club. I'm Dr. Cindy Groh, a board-certified nurse practitioner and the founder of My Venus Club. This is a space for women who are ready to understand what is actually happening in their bodies and finally get real answers. If you've been told your labs are normal and that this is just a part of aging or that you just need to try harder, and if you've sat through those 15-minute appointments left with just another prescription to manage symptoms, or maybe feel like you've even lost a part of yourself, you're in the right place. Before we begin, just a quick note. This podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended to replace personalized medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult your healthcare provider regarding your individual health needs. Here we go deeper. We connect the dots between your hormones, your metabolism, your genetics, and your lifestyle so you can stop guessing and start feeling like yourself again. So let's get started. Now we get to the part of this conversation that changes everything. In the last episode, we talked about what's happening inside your body, the hallmarks of aging, how changes begin at a cellular level long before you feel them. But today we shift that conversation because the question becomes, if this is happening, do I have any influence over it? And the answer is absolutely yes, more than most women have ever been told. And the reason that's true, it comes down to something called epigenetics. You were born with your genes. That's your blueprint. Your genes are not your destiny, though. Epigenetics is how your body uses those genes. Which ones are turned on, which ones are turned down. And what controls that is your daily life, your sleep, your stress, your nutrition, your movement, toxin exposure. These are all signals, and your body is constantly responding to those signals and adjusting to how it functions based on what it's experiencing. And this is where everything connects. In the last episode, we talked about the hallmarks of aging. The primary phase, where changes begin, the antagonistic phase, where your body tries to adapt, and the integrative phase, where it shows up as a symptom. Epigenetics is what links all of it together. It influences how those processes start, how your body responds, and how it ultimately shows up in how you feel. So it's not separate from what we talked about, but it's really what is driving it. And this is so important to understand. I worked with a woman in her mid-50s, doing everything she thought she should be doing, eating well, exercising, taking supplements, but she said, I just don't feel like myself. I'm tired. My sleep isn't great. I just don't feel like anything that I've been doing is working. Her labs were normal. She'd been told this is just a part of aging. But when we looked deeper, we saw something different. Her body was under more stress than it appeared. Her ability to recover was impaired. What she was doing wasn't wrong, it just wasn't aligned with what her body needed. So instead of doing more, we adjusted. We adjusted her hormones, her nutrition, her movement, her sleep. We influenced how her body detoxifies things it does not need or things that are not good for her. And over time, her body responded. Because her biology wasn't broken, it was responding to the signals it was receiving. She had the clarity she needed to make the right changes. This is what I see over and over again. Women are not lacking effort, they're lacking clarity. Because if what you're doing is not aligned with what your body needs, doing more of it won't move you forward. It often just adds more stress. And once you understand that, you stop trying harder and you start looking for answers and understanding better. And this is where I want to meet you with clarity because many women think it's too late. They look at their past, their stress, their life, and assume the damage is already done. But your body is not fixed. It is responsive and it's constantly adapting to what you're doing now. Your past influences your starting point, but it does not define your direction. And that means it's never too late. Not to improve how your body functions, not to support how your body repairs, not to change the direction your health is going. Because what you do today still matters. And I want to remind you about something I shared with you in the last episode, because this isn't just something I see in patients, it's something I've lived. As I've moved through my own midlife, I experienced these shifts myself. Changes in energy, sleep not feeling the same, hormones shifting in ways that didn't make sense at first. And like so many women, my instinct was to push harder, to do more, to stay disciplined. But with the right diagnostic testing, what I came to understand very quickly, both personally and professionally, is that my body wasn't failing. It was asking for something different. And once I started to look at it that way, everything changed. I became more intentional with how I moved my body, with how I supported my hormones, with how I approached nutrition, recovery, detoxification, not just doing more, but doing what my body actually needed. And that shift from pushing to understanding is what changed everything for me and what changes everything for my patients. And that's exactly what I want for you. So when you ask, what do I actually do? Start by getting the answers you need and by making simple changes, not with more effort, but with more intention. Where can you support your body better right now? And for most women, it comes down to a few foundational areas: sleep, movement, nutrition, stress, detoxification. Not perfectly, but the right kind consistently, because your body responds to what it needs and consistency. Not to one perfect week, but repeated supportive choices over time. And those choices are what begins to shift your biology in amazing ways. This is really where personalization matters because no two women have the same biology, the same stress load, same history, same needs. So there's no one size fits all approach. And this is where using diagnostic testing and understanding your body at a deeper level changes everything. Because now you're not just guessing, you're making decisions based on what your body actually needs. And this is where things start to feel different because once you understand what is actually happening, you stop looking for quick fixes. You start jumping from one solution to the next, hoping for something to finally work. And instead, you start paying attention in a different way. You start noticing how your body responds, what gives you energy, what drains it, what helps you recover, what creates more stress. And that awareness is what changes how you make decisions. Because now you're not just reacting to symptoms, you're responding to what your body is telling you. And that's a very different place to operate from. It's more intentional, more focused, and ultimately more effective. Because now your choices are aligned with how your body is actually functioning. And now that you understand this, we go one step deeper. Because the next question becomes, what's happening inside your cells over time, and how do we support that? And this brings us to the two critical processes we spoke of earlier, proteostasis and autophagy. Remember, proteostasis is your body's ability to maintain quality control, making sure proteins function in a way that they should. And autophagy is your body's cleanup system, removing what's damaged and making space for repair. And over time, both of these systems become less efficient, which means more buildup, less repair, less resilience. But there's a powerful part. Both of these systems are highly influenced by how you live. The signals you give your body every day either support repair or allow for more accumulation of damage. And this is where lifestyle truly becomes medicine, because certain choices directly improve how your body repairs, cleans up, and maintains functions at a cellular level. And one of the most powerful of these found to influence this is movement. Movement is not just about fitness or weight training. It's one of the most impactful interventions we have because it influences more hallmarks of aging than almost anything else. Movement. It supports cellular repair, metabolic health, mitochondrial function, inflammation balance, and overall resilience. But here's what matters most. It's not just movement, it's the right movement for your body, because what your body needs is not always more intensity. Sometimes it needs strength, sometimes it needs endurance, sometimes it needs flexibility, sometimes it just needs recovery, and sometimes it needs stability. And understanding that is what makes movement truly so effective. Right behind that is sleep, because sleep is where your body does its deepest repair. It's where autophagy is activated. It's where recovery happens. And without it, everything becomes less efficient. And then there's nutrition, stress, environment. All of these are influencing the same systems, but in different ways. So in the next episode, we're going to break this down more clearly so you understand how to find out what actually has the greatest impact and how your body ages and why, how movement affects multiple hallmarks of aging and why, and how sleep supports repair and detoxification at the deepest level, and how to start making decisions that truly support your biology. What type of diagnostics do you need? What type of biometric data do we look at? Because once you understand that, you stop doing more and you start doing what matters most. And that's where real change happens. So make it a great day, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode. If this episode resonated with you, I invite you to share it with someone who may need to hear it also. And if you're ready to start understanding your body on a deeper level and getting the clarity you deserve, you can learn more about my Venus Club at myvenusclub.com. We offer a limited number of memberships for women who are ready to take a more personalized, in-depth approach to their health. So apply for a membership. There's no pressure, just an opportunity to start a different kind of conversation, one that focuses on you, your body, and what you truly need. Because once you understand your body, everything changes. I'll see you in the next episode.